I love it when books have maps in them. It seems like all of the best ones do. In fact, if I can't judge a book by its cover, then it's only fair to judge it by its maps. Right at the start, before you even get into the story, a map really helps the imagination inhabit the world you're about to dive into, making it feel so much more real. And it stands to reason that if a map is the best place to start when reading a story, then making one is the best place to start in telling a story. I love making maps. When I first started thinking about my marshmallow stories, I made a map first thing, with a dip pen and ink on some parchment. It just makes me feel like even if I haven't written them all out yet, there are still hundreds of stories just waiting for me in this place. It's very comforting. In the last episode, I talked about changing the way we see the ordinary world, shrinking down to notice the little details and secret nooks and crannies in our own backyards. In this video, we'll be mapping it out, transforming what exists into something more fantastical. The only thing you'll really need is a pencil and some paper, and of course, your imagination. Let's start by having a proper look around. It's time to go outside and touch grass. Pay attention to the natural walking paths and empty spaces and how you move through the space that you're mapping. Would these be the main roadways in your world, or would the inhabitants get around in a different way? Maybe, like the squirrels, they keep to the tops of fences and telephone wires and never touch the ground if they can help it. I'm going to be using the paths that I mow around the flower beds as my major roadways. As you move through, do you notice any notable landmarks? What would stand out to you as a traveler to this new and exotic land? What would you make into a little postcard to send home? Look for beautiful things. A cool plant, a bird feeder, a garden gnome. As you walk around your backyard, or the park, or whatever location you've chosen, sketch out what's actually there, the rough shape of the area, and the important or notable things inside. It doesn't have to be an illustration yet. Just block everything out and label it. Don't concern yourself with the exact scale either. Just get a general idea of the size of things, as we will be playing with that later. Once the initial sketch is done, we can move on to the good part, transforming the real world into something much better. Next, we're going to use our sketches to make a more stylized version of the map. This part of the process will require a lot of puttering around and staring at things in between drawing. You'll need to get right down on the ground for a mouse-eye view, so if your neighbors didn't already think you were crazy before, this activity is sure to get them wondering about you. Maybe send them this video and they can make their own backyard map. You can choose to make whatever type of map you want, more symbol heavy with calligraphy like an old pen and ink scroll, or like me, you can choose to make it more of an illustration. Whatever kind of map that will get your creative energy flowing. I recommend hanging it up over your desk or creative space when you're done. I'm starting by drawing out the revised map onto a sheet of 9.5 by 12 mixed media paper. This should be more than enough room. I start with the boundaries of the backyard and fill in my important landmarks. Because I'm a messy person, I did a sketch first and then used my lightbox to trace over it so my lines would be cleaner. I also saved the line art just in case I ruined the map by coloring it in, because the drawing took so much work and detail. You could draw it all out at once and then name the locations afterward, but I tend to do it as I go. For me, this makes the process feel more organic. Places spring up and their names come with them. Every map has locations that are named, and nothing should be named that isn't important. When it comes to naming places, I used to be really heavily reliant on fantasy name generators, but for this exercise, let's keep things simple and familiar. For example, I named the path between the flowers along the fence and the wild carrots Skunk Run, because it's mostly used by the skunks at nighttime. If you start with the roads first, locations will naturally become stops along the way. Look for things that small creatures would consider resources. Sources of food, water, and shelter. Little secret hiding places. What's important in a human's environment won't be the same to a mouse or a bug or a fairy. What might they value, and how would that shape the civilization that they would build in a backyard? Is there anything that might draw creatures here from far away? Settlements often pop up around frequently visited locations and notable natural formations. For example, my backyard world starts at the Milkweed Gate. It is a portal from my home into my back garden, a portal to wildflowers. On one side of the gate is the Great Milkweed Forest, and on the other side is Gateway Village. And beyond that, up a log walkway, is the Moon Lily Market, open only at night when the huge white flowers are blooming. Naturally, travelers would need to stock up on supplies for their adventures. And where better than right at the entrance? I imagine that the huge burdock leaves are canopies for market stalls and outdoor cafe patios, and that there are creatures relaxing with a nice cup of coffee as they watch the travelers pass by on the road. As I mentioned in my last video, this activity is great if you have a messy, unkempt yard. Between the fire bans and a lack of motivation, our fire pit has become rather wild. But instead of feeling bad about it, it's now Woodpile Hall. All local government business is conducted from here. The chipmunks meet regularly to discuss their patrols and what the neighborhood cats are up to. The size of landmarks and features in the backyard will change on the map according to their importance to the world. You can use your pencil to bend time and space. The only limit is your own imagination. If there are things you are unsure of, like names, you can always add them in later, maybe digitally or with sticker labels. Maybe you don't have to fill in the whole map all at once, and can just start with one important location for now. Maybe there are some mysterious places that you want to leave dark until you figure out what to do with them. There are no rules set in stone. This is your world to create. I'm really pleased with the way the map turned out. It really helps me to change the way I see my own backyard. Suddenly, there's a lot more going on. My brain is already buzzing with new ideas and stories. It also helps me to appreciate my space. It might not be a Pinterest-worthy garden, but I certainly love every overgrown corner of it. In the next episode, we'll be visiting one of the locations on the map, taking a much closer look and building ourselves a village. So stay tuned, happy map making, and thank you so much for watching.